Funsize Show!
All right, welcome back to Currents. Today we have somewhat of a Designer Yappy Hour. I've invited a couple of people here. Lindsay Rife.
Hello.
And Anthony Armendariz.
Howdy.
Two of my very favorite coworkers.
Aw.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm stoked that you guys are here.
I didn't know you felt that way.
Yeah. Don't tell anybody else though. Cool. So yeah, I wanted to bring you guys here because I've seen a couple of things popping up on the internet that I wanted to kind of get y'all's gut check on, get your opinions on, get your thoughts on. Because I love presenting ideas and getting cold reads on it. So y'all don't have any idea of anything.
No.
Cool. But before that, I wanted to get you all's opinion or thoughts on something that I realized over the weekend that kind of just blew my mind in a very like short way, in a very, very like short but big way. So if you think about like whenever you're, you know, doing things on the internet, searching for things, inputting information into things, you know, when you write an email, like a Gmail, and you type somebody's name in there and it like kind of auto populates and then you click on it and it's like, hey, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like how crazy is that? Like how many Gmail accounts do you think that there are?
Billions.
Yeah, billions.
But to think about that, you type in, you get 3 or 4 characters in, or you add the at Gmail and it populates that fast.
Yeah.
You mean like they're not pulling from your contacts or like your previously emailed?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I've never really thought about that.
Yeah, never.
Like have you ever emailed somebody that you've never emailed before and you put at Gmail and it automatically like pulls their account
I've never.
and their avatar?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's insane. Like it's a very one of those things that's like invisible to me, but I realized it over the weekend.
Like you type in their first and last name and it knows
or their
Gmail account?
email address.
Oh.
Yeah, and it put like whatever their email address is and put at gmail.com and it pulls their avatar that fast.
I never knew that.
It blew my mind. Next time you write an email,
I've never really thought about that.
or maybe you write it. I just did this because I was writing an email to a new client and it pulled their avatar like that fast. And I was like, whoa, that was really kind of wild.
So you wrote it to a new client, meaning that it also does it with Google Apps domain. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason why we're getting so much spam, because people can just do that and like message anyone they want, any company.
Probably.
We're going to disable that feature if we can.
Yeah.
But no, I was just like
Don't
thinking
show my
that like
picture to strangers.
because like in some cases and like, you know, you may have worked on projects and maybe you have seen products and projects in the past where like, you know, you're searching for something and it has to have an API call to access a database and like it takes like 3 seconds.
Yeah, it is pretty instantaneous.
Right. But Gmail is like, it was just like that fast.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
But yeah, that's something that I
cool for
noticed. Yeah. So let me know if you notice that next time you're putting an email together.
I'm going to start emailing strangers.
That might have been the coolest thing I've heard in a while, because I've been trying to figure out how to not get so much spam.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the reason.
Maybe.
Or a reason.
Maybe.
I'm going to look at that.
Or you just need a burner email account that you sign up for things with.
Yeah, it's just like...
Just don't do it. Just don't use Tony at...
Yeah.
Because that's me. It'll go to me.
I feel like if someone's trying to reach a person named Anthony, they have a pretty good shot at Funsize.
That has happened. We've had a couple of mix-ups in the past. It's been funny.
Yeah.
That was something interesting. And then just this morning, I was thinking about something I wanted to get y'all's opinion on too. So I think that I've noticed there's becoming more of a desire to have a separation from connectivity, like whether it be like in like social media or just whatever digital experiences, like a more a desire to kind of like be analog, right? And so I started thinking about like, what if we could redesign the answering machine and make the answering machine and landlines cool again?
I have heard recently of people getting landlines again.
I'm kind of into
they
it.
still make them.
Yeah, I'm kind of into it.
And, you know, it's still technology we're capable of doing.
But like, imagine, I haven't researched this since this morning, but I can imagine the answering machines haven't really been worked on in
Yeah.
a while. Like the physical device of an
Yeah.
answering
Yeah.
machine. Like,
Was there the last time that I used an answering machine, it still had the tapes, but the tapes were smaller.
mm,
Did they ever make a digital version of the answering machine where there was no tape?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I wonder what an answering machine would look like now. It'd
I
probably
mean,
have
a voicemail.
someone will put AI. Yeah,
Yeah, right?
someone will put AI on it, and you'll have a imagine conversation.
Ooh,
with
see,
someone.
there you go. Yeah.
You decide what information
Like, would it be, you're saying that like the AI would be like you?
That's what I
Like-
first went to.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to record your answering machine message. It just automatically
Yeah,
copies your voice and tone for you.
yeah.
That
Or
would be
like,
interesting.
but like whether or not there's AI, you could do a lot of custom things, like custom messages per specific callers. Like, Dad, I told you not to call my landline. Text me instead.
Mhm.
Something like that.
No, but would you, okay, the thought is like, would you only have landline, no mobile?
I don't know about you guys, but I really only use my mobile for three things: writing, like
Mhm.
notes or
Mhm.
journal entries, responding to email, and playing games. That's it. I don't use it for anything else.
I actually don't ever answer my phone.
Right?
Like I don't really call people either. I'm not a big phone girl. I prefer texting or like, I don't know, in person.
So, but whenever
communication.
you were younger, were you like in like high school or whatever?
Oh,
were you like
I
a
was
talk on the phone
yapping
person?
on the phone all the
So
time.
what happened to us?
I don't know. We just became more text heavy, I think.
Mm.
Like I have group messages, I have texts with people, I have different channels. And also like I think the different channels of communication based on which app you're on versus texting. Like you can DM people now, you can,
Mhm.
you can have multiple conversations going with the same person in different formats. And that kind of eliminates the need for like a catch-up phone call to me.
That's a good point.
But I do love the idea of a catch-up phone call.
Yeah,
just don't-
that's hard for
I
me.
don't do it.
Yeah.
I try to call like once a week. I try to call someone that I haven't talked to in a while. I love just
Mm.
talking on the phone. That if I'm going to talk to someone, that's how I prefer to do it.
Is it pre-planned or you just like surprise?
Well, I just try to make time to do that.
So how do those recipients respond? Like, oh, hello.
Most of the people that I would call would probably answer because like old friends and
They're like, Anthony again.
yeah. I think talking on the phone is important when you can't be in person. Texting is
Yeah.
more like around the edge of that.
I will say my like closer friends and I, we tend to either like schedule a FaceTime or we use this Marco Polo app where you can leave like video messages, like voicemails essentially, back and forth. And so it's kind of like FaceTime, but you do it in your own time. So you catch up on ones you've missed and then you can respond. But those are like, the friends that I would have called that I did call when I was kids and we would just chat, catch up. So that's kind of like our digital equivalent to that. And we have like, pretty much every week we have back and forth messages, but it's just like, the issue is the set time. Like if you're on the phone, you are sitting there, you're on the phone. I mean, you might be multitasking, but both of you are fully locked in. I think the convenience of having the, hey, listen to this whenever you have a moment and respond whenever you have a moment is interesting because it keeps us connected, but it's kind of in our own time.
Do you ever, whenever I was in Europe, I kind of observed that voice memos, like voice messages, are more. I saw just so many people like recording into their phone and sharing it.
I do that too.
Really?
Not all the time. It's kind of depends on the other person and like, our dynamic. But yeah, if I don't feel like typing out a huge message, I'll do a voice memo.
That's extremely uncomfortable for me. I don't know why. Recording a voice memo into my phone to send. I don't know.
I think there's etiquette involved too. Like if you're going to do that, don't make it like 10 minutes long.
Okay. On this, to kind of bring it all the way back to where we started. Whenever you call somebody, do you leave them a message if they don't pick up? Kind of coming back to the answering machine idea. Like, do you leave them a message?
No, I don't think I've ever. Not ever.
Hey, this is
haven't
Lindsay.
left a
Just trying to check in
voicemail
on you.
in a long time.
Call me back.
I'll do it if it's with like an old friend where I wonder if they I've forgotten my number just in case,
I see.
but usually not.
I see.
I think the only place I do that is if I call the doctor's office or something and they're like, leave your name and number and we'll get back to you.
That's a good point. Situational.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? Like, because I think the same thing too. Like thinking about what a mobile device is used for, and what are the like I was thinking about my personally, like what are the traps that we fall into, like doom scrolling or just whatever that takes away from our daily lives that we put into like this thing. I don't know. I was just thinking about it. So it's like, oh, what if you just cut it off and just had an answering machine and a landline and that's all you had?
The other great thing about like the answering machine was you could leave a message for a whole family.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
That you could record your own messages. This is our family. We're not here. But you could also leave a message like, hope y'all are having a nice Christmas. Everything now is so personal. You don't know if anyone, if you were going to text someone or leave someone a message, you don't know that everyone else, their family.
That's a good point.
Could usually hear that.
And it's more kid friendly to just be able to call on a phone.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know kids these days. Your kid's pretty tech savvy. He probably knows more about the phone than I do.
Or, sorry, this is the last thing and then we'll move on. But beepers.
Oh,
Would you get a beeper?
No, I was just talking to a friend about this the other day
Pager.
Because her dad is a doctor and he had one of like the first pagers because like he used to have to call a service and just get like messages from people saying, hey, so-and-so needs this, like you need to go here. But when the pager came out and he could be directly notified, it was like a game changer. But he would just get a random number to call and and so all is the number and you call it. You have no idea why you're calling or who you're going to be talking to.
Like in this day and age, it would be spam for sure.
Yeah, that's anxiety inducing to me.
With the amount, how like back in the day, pagers are okay because if someone wasn't at home, they were putting 35 cents into the payphone to call you.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it would probably just be beeping.
Oh, it would just
constantly.
Yeah. Have you checked your car's extended warranty?
or no, it's expired.
Yeah.
Contact us now.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, I would rather just be not reached more so than, or not reachable more so than more reachable.
Landline. Think about it. Cool. So, those are just a couple of things I've just been thinking about lately, but something a little bit more, I guess, not a little bit more, but still just topical, is I found this article by a woman named Effie White, and the title is The Unglamorous Reality of Product Design. Rescue Missions, Not Redesigns. And so the article starts off by the author kind of explaining her perspective as she was in school, learning design, and thinking about how those learnings and her now tools and skills would be applied in the real world. And she was anticipating, working on like well-structured design. But then like on her first day, she was able to like open up the files and kind of see how the sausage was made. And she was very confused because it was messy. It was bloated. It was not at all what she had thought it would be, with like, inconsistent patterns all over the place, outdated experiments, and design decisions that were just in files that were not connected to like the rationale of why the design decision was made. And this is not I just want to put a disclaimer out. This is not a commentary on any of our work or any of our clients. It's just a commentary of the industry as a whole, because I think that we run into that. Like we get hired to come in and work with a company and to solve their problems. And then we open up the file and there's a lot going on. I don't know. I just want to, what do y'all think about that general concept of like something externally might look very polished and very like buttoned up, but then whenever you look and see how the product is made, there's a lot of things that happen along the way
I mean, it's spot on. It happens more often than not. I kind of compare it to people's homes, like their actual homes. Like you can have a really polished and put together, family, and especially with social media, you kind of see the highlight reel and the polished image. But then if you were to actually go inside of most people's homes, it's messier and a little bit more chaotic than it seems. And that's normal. Like, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with it, but I do think it's normal.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it was really interesting. I don't know if you have any thoughts there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think that when you look under the hood of anything, it's going to be a lot more underneath there than you thought.
Yeah, I actually think whenever I was reading this article, I thought it was kind of cool because like we get the opportunity to go in and to see all of that and like dig through that and look through all of that. Mm-hmm. Because like I have found things like, in the dark corner of a file that are like, this is actually pretty cool, that maybe it didn't ship or didn't make it very far because maybe, a PM at the time was thinking a certain way about solving a problem a certain way, but then they had to move on to something else and it got kind of like washed out, in the bottom of the file. And then you're like, oh, actually I could, like take this and rework it a little bit. And then you never know, it like might get shipped right away.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoy that process. Like, I think organization is like one of my skills. And so I think that going in and having the opportunity to sort through things that someone else has done and help them organize it or organize their thoughts around it or literally just organize the file, you can kind of like uncover different patterns and I guess like understand more about different ways of thinking by doing that versus just looking at a polished, put together file.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like, in the age of Figma, but, prior to Figma and Sketch, things would just get lost. Lots of ideas would get just, some random layer and some random Photoshop file in some random folder. If there wasn't someone with an archivist sort of POV on the work, like, a majority of the ideas and stuff would just get lost after decisions were made and people move on. And I often wonder like how many good ideas are passed over in a lot of companies for reasons like that.
I think that's an interesting point about like pre-cloud based design tool, because like, having an idea and it getting like buried in a layer in a file is one thing, but like having that idea buried in a file that's buried in a folder that's buried on a hard drive somewhere is like even crazier.
Never gonna be found again.
Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't even think about it that way. That's wild. But then the other thing too is like part of this article, she was just like, she was speaking about like the rationales to why certain decisions are made. And she was talking about that, and she says she references like the color of a button. She's like, oh, I wonder why this button is orange. And so she says, it was the first designer's decision that was passed down to the next design lead, that was passed down to the design team, that was passed along to me. And the reasoning for why was lost in translation along the way. At this point, does the why even matter? It's like, I think that we often kind of live within that situation too, of like, we are here now. Like, we don't, for better or for worse, we don't need to really think about the why. It's like, it is what it is. But I think that what we always do though, is we still ask that question.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially being an agency, we kind of come in and have to get our bearings, and we do ask a lot of questions. And sometimes that like fresh perspective helps you ask, or like gives you the opportunity to ask questions like that. Like, why was this decision made? Maybe they don't always know the answer, but at least it's kind of a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess everything's different, but someone wanted to change the color of a button, then there's probably like a probably different set of questions than why is it like this, but like what could this do for the future, or how would it impact the the brand identity. But yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people understand like how hard even a small decision like that is.
Yeah.
How many people go into that decision?
Yeah. So like, figure out what boat you want to rock, I mean, and understand the economics of the business. I mean, it's a lot different now, but like I remember when Natalie, my wife, was working at RGA and she was working on feature phone stuff, and like to change a button would cost a cell phone carrier millions of dollars. Like it's a little bit easier now with stuff, but like I don't know if that, I don't know the context of the question, but yeah, the reason may not be brand, it might be economical, or it might just be to keep put the energy to some other question.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I think that I think that's right, and I think that there's a lot of things, because I like reading this. I read it a few times, and I went back and forth around like, okay, well, decisions happen, big or small, and I was like, okay, well, as either a new designer coming to be hired to work on an in-house team or a startup, like, do you need all of that documentation? Do you need all of that rationale as to like how something got to where it is? And if you did have it, like, what would that do for you? Like, you might skim, I'm just an assumption, this is maybe me, you might skim it and be like, okay, cool, I understand. And then, okay, let's change it. Or is it better to not have it? To not have all of the backstory of organizationally, like, maybe the organization was trying to, this is getting a little bit bigger than an orange button, but like, company is going in a different direction. We need to change things and do things this way. Or, oh, that PM left. We need to, that their vision is out. This new PM's in. Like, does it really matter?
I don't think that every little change log instance matters, but I am a big believer in documentation and documenting design rationale. And I think design rationale is a little bit different than just documenting every single change that was made and why it was made, in terms of like, this person said this person wants it like this had this impact. I think just generally, especially from, our point of view as oftentimes, designers that are coming in for a set period of time, it's a good practice to write down why you made decisions at a high level and what you believe their impact to be, because that legacy, that will get lost in translation, like when we leave, if we don't, because we literally won't be there anymore to say it. So it's just kind of like a best practice to me, to, especially for communication's sake and reviews, and especially executive reviews, and like, things where decisions or scenarios where decisions do get made, to have some sort of documentation of your rationale so that you can back up why you made decisions and have that written down, to live on past yourself.
Yeah.
I feel similar. Like I think if you're like working on the next version of something or redesigning it, I think it's, in my opinion, I don't know if y'all would agree with me, but spend most of the energy on the future, because there's not much you can change about the past, but at least learn from the past.
Yeah.
So like, if learn how those previous decisions actually worked, use that to just, impact new things. But I mean, it's, different, like in a small, like we're about to start a project with a company that's been 20 years in the making, where the founder has had close ties to every decision, because it's a really complicated company. So there's probably, in that case, like probably very strong opinions about why this, why that, why that. But like same amount of time frame in enterprise, stuff it'd be so many different people, cooks in the kitchen. So it kind of depends on the context of the person, and if you're talking to the person that designed the thing or not.
Yeah, I think it's very situational. and how fast the projects are moving and the size of the team, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was just thinking about a lot of things while I was reading this article. And I think that it's, I don't know, it struck some chords. But also, but it's like, it was also, if I had to summarize it up, like it's what everybody always says, like design is messy. Like design is can a lot of times not linear. It takes twists and turns and paths and tangles and all kinds of stuff. And I think as a designer, and especially a designer in an agency that works with clients, you have to be flexible to understand that whenever you walk in the door to a new company, a new organization, like you have to just like be okay in the state in which their house is, right? You know,
you have to learn how to thrive in the chaos sometimes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times that we like, to your point, like organizing the file or organizing whatever it may be, like we often get like celebrated for doing that. Like, you know, like putting their house in order. I love that metaphor of like,
I think of like home organizers. Like they literally have a profession that is going into people's homes, identifying patterns in their objects and needs in their daily life and putting a system in place to make that work. And that's essentially what we do as designers is we put a system in place to make the design work. And, you know, that is very situational, but it's kind of the same formula.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. Like the closet organizer, you know, when that's done right, it makes the final product of someone picking their attire for the day.
Like that's the goal.
That's the polish, right? And I think that everyone's different, but I always found a lot of joy in organizing stuff because I guess I felt like, well, number one, I'll be able to work more efficiently if it's organized, and so will someone else. But I think that maybe when you can, it just brings a little moments of joy to people, but not everyone's like that. You know, like I like that analogy you used, Lindsay.
Yeah. And actually in the article, the author presented like the idea of pragmatic design with, I wouldn't say that they're phases, but more so just skills that I think that like coincidentally that we bring into our projects. And the first is archaeology, which is like investigating past decisions to understand current systems. So we got to go in, we got to get the lay of the land. Yeah, we got to get our little brushes out and like kind of look and see what's there.
Get our hands dirty.
Yeah, like I said, like find the little bits and pieces that are like, whoa, this is kind of cool. And then maybe ask the question like, what happened when? Well, tell me about this. And the second one is diplomacy, which is balancing user needs, business goals, and technical constraints. So I think that we have to like not come in too hot and just be like, you know, let's talk about this part. Let's talk about this part. And let's talk about what's possible. Yeah. Triage. So prioritizing design issues based on impact and feasibility. So making sure that we are working on the most important thing. And a lot of times we help help our clients like go through that process. Sometimes it's a little easier than others, but I think that that's one of the, when we finally reach like the desired outcome of a prioritization session, like I love that.
Oh yeah.
Cause it feels good.
Feels like you've unearthed a gemstone.
Yeah. It's super fun. And then the last one is incremental thinking. And I think that this one was more geared to her particular situation because she's worked in several different startups, that was explained during this article. But she says, focusing on making small continuous improvements rather than seeking perfection, which is kind of like, you know, the cleanliness analogy of like, you know, maybe not everything all at once.
Yeah.
But a little bit here and there can obviously help. And we've worked on various projects where that is true in a various scale, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that I just found this to be like real and interesting to me.
I think a point that you brought up towards the beginning about early career designers, kind of having a certain expectation
that was the other part,
of how this is going to go. That speaks to me because that, we're all kind of well along in our careers. We've seen a few things, but I definitely had that perception when I came out of school too. I was like, okay, where's my glossy branding brief? I will make you a logo with my design skills, but I need all of the information given to me and all of the things figured out, and I need you to cooperate.
I thought it was going to be this 5-step process every day for years.
Yep.
And, you just learn as you go that that's not usually the case.
Yeah. Which that reminds me, is like, shout out to Lee Brenner, because he was like, we're designers, but we're more so problem solvers.
Yeah.
And just, in navigating and our way through problems, whatever type of problem they may be.
We're archaeologists. We are problem solvers. We're professional organizers.
Yeah.
Coaches,
therapists.
Yeah. For sure.
Mediators. Yeah.
So there's another quote that stuck out to me, and I'm curious if it might resonate with you. I don't know why but I'm just curious. So she goes on to say, the hard truth, most product work isn't creating new experiences on blank canvases. It's improving what exists while keeping the business running. This isn't a failure. It's just how product development works in the real world.
I mean, yeah, I think that's true. I mean, depends on the type of business. I mean, look at a product like Basecamp. They have made certain decisions. They don't really want to change the product, or don't even really need to add too many features. So it's about making that better, where, for another company, but yeah, in general, like, I think y'all would agree, like, what young designers, I think, often don't realize is that you're only creating a new company once. And you're only, if it's being redesigned, it might be every 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So anything in between is just going to be, incremental improvement, and for the most part,
Yeah. And I think another thing that is a lesson you have to learn is that failure is not a bad thing in those scenarios. It's actually a good thing because it gives you direction and pushes you forward. If you're doing an A/B test, you're literally trying to see which one will fail and which one will not fail, but which one will improve poorly and which one will improve well. And that is how you make decisions and move forward incrementally.
Yeah.
But when you have this big expectation of a blank canvas, I have to make a perfect end result product, that process doesn't go through your mind of trying things out.
But yeah, and also, I think that you mentioned it at some point in the last couple of weeks, but a lot of times, and also maybe with the kind of current state of the world we're living in, if somebody's going to try to create a new company, there's a lot on the line for that. And it has to be perfect. This weird expectation of it has to be perfect.
Nowadays, you mean?
Yeah.
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 I think nowadays that's kind of an important thing because there's so much competition in every industry vertical. And the conversation that we had with Brian, I haven't been able to stop thinking about that. We designers, we do all of these things, but the number one thing that we should be, or a primary thing that we really should be focused on, is creative quality. And you and I have had conversations about this, but and I'm not necessarily suggesting that you flip the 80-20, but not enough companies spend any time thinking about the future at a longer scale. Right. They're always thinking in 3 to 6 month, maybe 12-month increments. you don't have to like flip that on its head, but like surely there should be more time invested in where is this company and service product going to be 10 years from now? You know, surely that might also help with, you know, incremental stuff. But I don't, y'all know more about that, but I just haven't seen, I think space can be created for that. And I also think that designers should try to create their own space for that kind of stuff. Because otherwise you will just be, if you're just waiting on someone to assign you a ticket or tell you what to do, that's all you're going to be doing. So it takes a little bit of proactive effort,
right?
I think, to sidetrack some stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how often that's done.
Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, knowing that long-term vision is motivating and kind of keeps you connected to a sense of purpose. You know, we're all looking for a way to make a change that impacts people and, you know, feel good about the work that we're doing. And it's easy to lose sight of that when you're just going ticket to ticket and, you know,
feeling like a machine.
Yeah. Small change to small change.
Yeah. I think that like, the intention is real. I think, to your point, like you have to intentionally, kind of push the envelope a little bit and balance that with like delivering what's expected. But I agree. I think that, you know, and especially in the projects that we're on and clients we work with, delivering a little bit of an extra experiment, if you will, on something you're working on, usually taken pretty well.
It's an opportunity for designers to play and design, as long as you realize that it's probably not going to ship.
Yeah,
but it's still like you still could find joy in doing it. Still could have value doing it. But
what did we used to call that when we would go rogue like that?
Go rogue,
not go rogue, but
special ops. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, I think that was born out, you know, out of an idea that more from the agency perspective, like someone, you know, people are paying, you know, like more than like built, you know, higher amounts of cash than hiring people. We should be helping them with their incremental stuff, but if they're hiring an agency, they should be getting more value. Or for people that, or help people that don't know how to.
What if we just said that?
What do you mean?
Like in whenever we're like engaging with a potential client, like you're going to get more.
I would love. I mean,
you're going to get more.
Well, that's so hard to promise, though.
What if we said that?
It's hard to guarantee because every situation is so different. I've been on projects before where the idea of doing special ops was really enticing and, you know, a good idea, but we didn't have the tools to do it because we were working in such a siloed work stream.
I see.
Like we didn't have the whole product vision to work with. We were very much, put in a lane and told to stay there, and that's fine. That's what we're hired to do a lot of the time. But sometimes you do need more context to be able to do that.
Yeah. I think it's a good segue actually into the other thing that I wanted to talk to y'all about, and especially because you said not looking at failure as being a bad thing.
Well, before you move on,
do
y'all remember that big enterprise client we had where the PMs had produced all the mock-ups in Microsoft Paint, and when we got a hold of, they were all flattened MS Paint documents?
I don't recall,
like 6 years ago.
I don't recall that. But I celebrate the participation.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
I kind of love that. I would love more people to do that.
I agree.
I mean, it was cool. It's like, they didn't have the design tool knowledge or whatever, but they like took the initiative, made these design mock-ups. But on the other hand, like all that had to be recreated.
I like that.
Like from scratch.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That actually reminds me of we think we were on the project at the same time. And I believe it was Sasha.
Oh, yeah.
It was saying that I may be making up his words a little bit here, but like everybody is creative. Everybody can create. But we create in the same ways. We just use different tools.
Right.
Tools that are familiar to you. You know, because I can't remember where I mentioned it, but like
spreadsheets.
Yeah, like have you ever seen the guy? I think I may have mentioned it to you. The guy that makes paintings in Excel.
Yeah.
I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My son was telling me about something like that.
And it's just like,
wild.
you would never think that's possible, but then he's like, oh, well, he knows paint and Excel really well.
He's the artist and that's his canvas.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody's creative. We just use the tools that are the most familiar to us. So, yeah. But yeah, anyway, because you mentioned like not seeing failure as a bad thing. Immediately, the next article that I found, title grabbed me. It was clickbait, but it's called "Hunting White Elephants with UX" by Armendariz. You know what a white elephant is?
Like the Christmas game?
What's Christmas game?
Like white elephant when you bring like a gag gift to a party.
I didn't. My mind didn't go there.
Oh, that's all I've ever heard. White elephant
really?
Yeah, me too.
As.
So I actually didn't really know. I mean, obviously I knew that the way that white elephant exists, but I didn't know it in the context of this article. But what they describe white elephant as is the term white elephant is borrowed from architecture, describing expensive projects that fail to fulfill their intended function. In the digital realm, this translates to over-engineered features, confusing redesigns, tech-first innovations lacking user adoption, and misguided trends pursued without validating real demand. So it's a white elephant in this context.
I wonder where they got the other one from then.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Huh.
But like to the point of like, a lot of times they have some examples here I'll go over in a second, but maybe there's something like, obviously AI is the most popping thing right now. It's like, we need to do something with AI. We got to do fucking answering machine with AI. We got to do, the fishing lure with AI or something like that, So it's just like, but like nobody's asking for it.
Yeah.
Nobody really needs it. So it's just like, what is going on here?
I was actually I started reading through Figma's AI report earlier. I don't know if y'all got that
I haven't.
Email.
Please share it with me.
Yeah, they surveyed a bunch of designers in different size orgs from different countries and stuff, just asking how they're using AI and the perception of it. And I'm going to butcher this because I was skimming it, but I'm pretty sure it was saying that like majority of people who are using AI or who do have AI initiatives that they're working on at their companies could not identify what the actual goals were other than we need to incorporate AI, or the goal is to do something with AI,
Yeah.
It's not to like raise a certain amount of metric for the user or increase revenue in this area.
Or to solve a human problem.
It's like, we need to use AI.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of working with that as the goal. And so it's harder to get success metrics, which is how we thrive as designers, And I thought that was interesting because it seems to be a trend.
It's kind of like the 90s in a way. We need to get on the internet. All right, what should your website look? I don't know. Just get on the internet.
And they compared it to like mobile apps at a certain point. They were like, when mobile just developed, everyone was like, we need a mobile app. Does everyone need a mobile app?
What do we need it to do? It just needs to be mobile.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of those are not existent anymore.
Yeah. This article is what made me start thinking about the answering machine. Just because of like what problem the answering machine was solving.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But that's where this came from.
The point about bloated things or potentially over-engineered things that people don't want. In the startup space, I kind of like think, in my opinion, there's like two different types of entrepreneurs. Like the one that wants to create something no matter what, because that's what they want to make, and that's it. And then one that like deeply cares about what the market wants, wants to make money and stuff like that. And for that latter category, like it's kind of amazing what I think you can do by starting with brand marketing and sales and a little bit of concept ideation first before writing a line of code or before wasting any time or energy on design, because the stuff is expensive, especially now when people aren't getting funding. So like, why not do something quick like that to figure out like, I mean, it's research, right? To put up a landing page with some value propositions, potential concepts, and see if you get signups, or see if you can book pre-order, see if you could book sales calls, see if you can figure out if that's the thing that the market wants that you're also interested in creating. But I think like so much historically since the iPhone era has just been like creating all this stuff, months and months and months or years to get to market. And then, oh man,
suddenly you find out
people don't want this yet.
By the time you get there.
Oh, we got to like now
gotta go back.
We got to like pivot and then do that all over again. And I don't know. It just seems a little bit wasteful to work that way unless money and time are unlimited.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what this article was saying. And to the point of like failure is like, the age-old saying of like fail fast, fail early,
fast.
fail cheap,
Yeah.
Like, but like, where has that gone?
We've just gotten really caught up in process and bureaucracy, I think.
So the examples, there's 3 examples that were provided in this article. The first one was the metaverse. You familiar with the metaverse?
I heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Did not subscribe.
Yeah. It says, despite significant investment, Meta's VR platform struggled due to unclear value propositions and low user readiness. Like they put a ton of money into the metaverse.
They even changed their name to Meta.
Right?
Oh, that's right.
I don't know if it was because of that, but it was probably
it was a big
connected,
reason why,
sure.
I think.
What's that?
If I recall, I think it was a big reason why.
Yeah.
Or they cited it as being a reason why.
So, but I'm just like, I don't know what, like, for a company like, I don't know if they've killed metaverse by any means. I didn't research further than this article, but it definitely, I can say that it definitely didn't pick up the way that they thought it would.
Yeah.
So, like, they could have probably avoided that.
Yes.
Or saved it for later. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but that's an example of someone who has the money to put into that doesn't matter, where the money doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's a good point.
I feel like
that
it
is
was
a very
maybe
good point.
a bit of a pet project from the CEO.
That's a good point.
But yeah, I mean, the timing is weird. Well, okay, they didn't go. If they were too early, they could have been even too early. When they did that, I think like at that time you could start to get relatively good consumer grade VR headsets and stuff like that, but it's still not there yet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, until that stuff becomes more economical, no one would pay for it. But then I still think like there's a lot of like, do people actually want to be in a VR
I think
world?
that's the point. Yeah, that's the whole point, right? Do people want to even do that?
Yeah.
And again, it's situational. Like if I recall, that kind of started booming in COVID, or like the idea really came to fruition during COVID when we couldn't be in physical spaces together. And so, maybe at one point more people did want that or were interested in that. But now that society is kind of adapted back into
that's interesting.
Physical spaces, I feel like, that changes. And by the time they actually built out all that technology, it was kind of like, we're good.
So you're saying that maybe because of COVID, it made people care more about being with people again after all those years of distancing.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe it was, and again, I'm speculating because I don't know a ton about it, but maybe it was trying to fulfill a need for connection during that time that we couldn't get other than virtually. There's other apps that popped up, during that time that were kind of for digital hangouts or whatever. And I don't know if a lot of them have lasted.
What was that one? It was like a video game.
We used to play
Gather.io, I think.
Yeah, we used to play Drawful a lot.
Drawful. Oh, wow. I forgot about that. Yeah. Friday Drawful, Drink and Draw, or whatever.
Drink and Draw, yeah.
Yeah.
I somewhat related to this. I mean, because there are people that like work as maybe a context. So it's a global market now, right? So people are working all over the world and they show up to work in a conference, right? but they still care about the things that most people care about. Like, do I sound good? Do I look good? You know, like I want to show up to be my best. And my friend was saying that through his research in his businesses, like they found that people will pay like 1/10 of the actual MSRP of a real object. They'll pay 10% of that in the virtual world. So like if an Armani suit cost $10,000, they're willing to pay 10% of that to like to show up to work in a conference call where it looks like you're wearing an Armani suit. And that kind of freaks me out a little bit to think that like maybe that, I don't know, like it personally just makes me feel weird, but like in the work context, I'm kind of curious about that because like I could see that actually happening.
Yeah.
So like you're back to tie this all together, like the closet that needs to be organized potentially is a digital closet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, now we're talking. You got to organize all your Armani suits.
The next example that they had, it was Quibi, which is, I'm not exactly familiar with Quibi, but it was a short form video platform that failed to compete with free alternatives like TikTok, leading to substantial financial losses. So apparently they were trying to come up when TikTok and YouTube Shorts were on the rise as well. So eventually they blew about nearly $2 billion and faded into oblivion. Can you imagine blowing $2 billion?
Well,
imagine 10% of $2 billion.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
I don't think I've even ever heard of
Exactly.
that.
I've never heard of it either.
It just it failed to get
what it made
traction and couldn't compete.
You know what it made me think of though is that trivia game we all used to
HQ.
play. HQ.
Do you remember that?
Oh, that was fun.
It was like
that
2
was
p.m.
so
every day or something.
And it was
like
a huge fad, but then it just disappeared.
They had some scandals, I believe.
Yeah.
Scott Rogalski, I think that was his name.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And they tried to go
Shout out Scott.
I think he was a pretty bad guy.
Shout out Scott, not for being a good guy.
I think. I don't know. But yeah, they tried to go corporate. They tried a whole bunch of things, and then it eventually kind of tanked, I think.
But like if they had just kept it pure.
Right.
Where could it be today?
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, like for a company to spend that much money, and we work in tech, and we've never
heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I mean, do you think it was just market saturation at that point? Like, what did they do wrong?
I think that it is a case of competition, market saturation, and seeing the writing on the wall. Honestly, because I think, I don't know exactly, again, I didn't research it farther than this article, but it seems like they were on the coattails of TikTok and YouTube. And so it's like, sorry, but why would you?
Yeah, you have to provide something really unique.
That TikTok probably already had crazy market traction.
Yeah.
So like you're going to have to, and again, to the failing, like, okay, what are we doing that's in direct competition? What can we shift in order to separate and
I mean, it takes a lot to disrupt an industry like that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's also kind of a sad reality that pretty much every experience is owned by one of the top 5 big companies.
Yeah, that's true.
It is so hard for anyone to create anything new in the consumer space and survive.
Yeah.
Because those big companies will squash you.
Or really the best case scenario is they buy you.
Yeah. They build it themselves, they buy you, or they squash you.
Yeah. Yep.
Or there's just not enough, traction. Man, it's kind of that's kind of a shame for me because I kind of thought, oh, okay, well, like when the internet's like, okay, it's an equal playing field. Anyone can innovate and stuff like that. But it's so corporate.
Not in this economy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last example is the concept of EV charging pre-booking. So you could book an 8-day advance to charge your vehicle. like you could book like 8 days in advance.
Okay.
And like
book a spot.
Book a spot apparently, and they shut down because of just like super minimal usage.
I mean, I'm so bad at running out of gas. I don't have an EV, but
so like what? Like
I don't even pay attention to my gas.
This whole concept is so weird to me.
How do you how will you know if in 8 days?
Exactly.
Right?
I'm like, oh, my light's on. I gotta go.
There's like only one example that I can think of off the top of my head. If you're planning a cross country,
that's true,
road trip.
Yeah.
So like,
but even then, you have to know when you'll be where and stay on a schedule.
Yeah. And you can't veer off path. Oh, we can't go to Yosemite because I have an 8-hour advance booking for this charging. I'm not going to get a refund.
You have to pee? Too bad.
Yeah, we're staying here. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's just like admitting a failure.
Yeah.
And looking at that as an opportunity rather than a setback.
A growth moment.
And they have one more example, but which is really an interesting one, which is the Apple's Touch Bar. Do you remember that? That was on the MacBooks.
I just got rid of my laptop that had that.
Yeah, and so they've abandoned that.
I noticed that, and it took me a while to adapt to it, but I didn't hate it.
I did not like it.
Really?
I did not like it.
I didn't mind it.
But think about from failing on a piece of software or in a digital experience is one thing, because maybe your financial loss might not be that much.
Oh, hardware.
If you don't go out of business.
Story.
But hardware?
Yeah.
To fail on a piece of hardware?
No,
that's crazy to me.
That's a legacy that lasts a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. Because they kind of like not painted it in a positive light, but different than the other three, is that Apple's Touch Bar aimed to revolutionize MacBook input, but disrupted workflows, lacked third-party adoption, and failed to enhance efficiency. Apple eventually removed it, proving that not all innovations improve UX. Some introduce unnecessary complexity. So why didn't they know that before, going through all of the efforts to like build this hardware and design this hardware?
I feel like the third-party adoption piece is interesting there, because people wouldn't know to people wouldn't know to use it, utilize it, or build for it if it didn't exist yet, unless they're doing like some crazy prototyping, which I'm sure they did. But
did the Touch Bar come out before or after Steve Jobs passed away?
After,
yeah, it was just like a few years ago.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. Like that feature only lasted like one generation of MacBooks.
Yeah,
I never learned how to use it, so I just didn't use it.
I honestly didn't use it to its full extent. I just liked that the emojis would pop up in there, and I could easily access them. That's
pretty cool, because not everyone like the emoji is.
Yeah, you don't have emojis on your keyboard,
Yeah, unless you like find the right shortcut, whatever.
Oh, I know what that shortcut is.
Yeah, but
Control Command Search
that
bar.
Opens the whole menu. What if your most used emojis could just pop up at your fingertips?
Just add another key for emoji or something.
That's a good point.
But
that was really the only thing I used the Touch Bar for.
But I also want, I don't know if they described it in the article, but I'd be curious, what that did on sales margins by the added cost of the added technology in the MacBook
during the Touch Bar era.
Yeah, by removing it, how much revenue sales margin did they gain just because of less cost to manufacture? I don't know. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, they definitely did mention it here, but that's a good point.
I also wonder how long ago they had the idea for the Touch Bar, because working in even briefly working with the car UI and the in-vehicle stuff that we've done, you learn about hardware debt, and that is very, very, very forward thinking.
Oh yeah. That's what made me start thinking about this whole thing. Is because of how much forethought goes into that. Yeah.
It's not like software where you're like, cool, let's make this button bigger. Let's make this dial different. They're thinking years and years in advance and trying to predict the market and the trends and the user patterns. And then you have to the interesting thing about the car UI is you have to kind of align the digital experience to the physical experience there. But that's hard because the physical hardware you're working with a lot of times is really old. And you're just kind of like, this is what we have to work with. So
Yeah. Yeah. So white elephants.
Oh, new term.
It's more than a Christmas game.
Yeah. But I guess the moral of the takeaway is that a lot of times, like, our jobs and experience design is looked at as like creating really delightful things and making things easier to use and enhancing the enjoyment of a certain thing. But it's also used to tell you not to do something.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think we talk about that a lot.
The destination.
Yeah, I think that I guess we as humanity, and I guess people in digital space, I think we should think about that more. What things need to not exist earlier to make way for things that are even better?
Yeah. I wish there was a way to go back in time and think about alternatives to AI.
Let's hear it. What's an alternative to AI?
Not having AI?
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I'm so worried about that one. But I'm more worried. I'm not worried about it like in the context of like how it manifests in products. I'm worried about the long-term impacts on humanity. At what, like, we're not thinking right now, like, okay, AI, sorry to go on a rant, but like AI can help us do our design jobs better. But over time, say 5-10 generations from now, will designers know how to make anything themselves at all with their own hands?
Hard to say.
That's a good question.
And is it still crafting if that's the case? Maybe, I don't know. But like, I mean, I don't know, but think about all the other, not just design, but all the things that humans have had to learn to do, like farming or, like anything, right? And I'm just like, I wonder, like, to me, my fear is like, okay, this is like a fast track to like idiocracy. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're definitely on that track.
We're losing our critical thinking.
So I need to rewatch that movie. Actually, I think that's good. That's a good place to put a pin in it. Yeah, I appreciate y'all sitting down, talking about a few things. Let me pick your brains about some stuff that I've kind of found interesting along the way. And I really hope we get a chance to do it again.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this Yappy Hour. Thanks for having me.
It's a good Yappy Hour. Well, all right, y'all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.